Halifax getting off kicking off the start of the second half, leading 32 points to 4, which should mean that Martin Hall is halfway to his first win as a Halifax coach. And can anybody come down from such a deficit? I'll come back from such a deficit. Well, ask York City Knights about that when they were winning, I think 34 points to 10 at Widnes, and Halifax turned it round miraculously in the last 10 minutes. There was a hint of a forward pass there. The ball being thrown about in an effort to keep it alive as York look for the first points of the second half. The George ball coming up for Marcus George. It'll be the first knock on against Marcus George. York will get possession at the scrum. Well, you'd think there were 8 points apiece in the last minute of the game, the way York tried to keep the ball alive then, but they've come up with it for another set of 6, with the scrum 10 metres from the Halifax line. Patterson picks it off his bootlaces. Blanchard for the line. Halifax still under the cost. David Bates just managing to keep hold of it under pressure from former teammate Andy Hobson. Halifax have only 2 men out to this side, but Rob Spicer slipped. Manages to get the ball away to Liddle to Blairmeyer on to Jason Golden, but Halifax managed to keep York 8 to 9 metres away from the try line. Bates drives it up again and gets the ball away. Excellent pass from Bates, but Blanchard is stopped again, and there's a knock on. Well, Bates thumped the ground. I'm not surprised, as he thought there was 4 points coming from that, and it was just Blanchard's inability to keep hold of the ball that saved Halifax conceding the first try of the second half after some excellent work from York. So they won the ball from the scrum, and there's one against the head. So Mick Cook has obviously given his team a right roasting at half time, and they're trying to hit back straight away, and looking to go over was Rob Spicer. He's stopped a metre away. Buchanan tries the same from acting half, and he disappears under the Halifax tacklers. Bates again charging forward, and David Bates gets reward for his own efforts after the ball was lost last time. Obviously David Bates thought it would be better to keep hold of it himself. He went for the line and scored against his former team, and it's Halifax 32, York City Knights 8. Well, it took them about 20 minutes to get the first try in the first half. Halifax haven't even touched the ball in the second half, which is only a couple of minutes old. Bates scores the try. Patterson takes over kicking duties and has the same problem as Liddle did in the first half. The ball bouncing back off the post. Well, is this the start of the comeback?
Official attendance here at Huntington Stadium this afternoon, 1,475.
Long deep kick, and that ball goes out on the full. Well, Lee, a couple of weeks ago, Halifax 18 points affording the lead at half time. It wasn't enough against a team that were hot favourites for promotion. It should have been enough against York, 32-4 at half time, but here come York again. Halifax have had a scrum and a kick-off, and that's the only ball they've seen so far in this half, because the rest of it has been in the York hands, and that went backwards, says Ronnie Lawton. And Liddell down on the ball to scoop it up. Here comes Bates again. Stopped 5 metres away. Liddell is at acting half, and he fancies a go on his own. And has he got the ball down? He's held up, says referee Ronnie Lawton, so they'll go back to the 10 metre line. Continue the tackle count. And as it just served to give York a little bit more room as Patterson shows the ball and then flips a little pass to Blairmeyer. Continuing on that left hand side, Hull, York stacking men on that far side, and again York managed to keep it alive. Halifax struggled to defend against that sort of play, and Penny picks the ball up behind the post and saves Halifax from conceding potentially a second try early in the second half. It'll calm the nerves a bit, and this will calm them even more with a penalty for York being offside. And making sure the ball goes into touch without trying to get too much distance on the ball. Hobson will drive it forward into a 3-man tackle. Clough to Renge, and Renge steps the first line of defence and takes it up to halfway. Clough quick away from acting half, has support from Hobson. Halifax make another 12 metres. York still retreating as Clough fires the ball to Lawford. Lawford out to Damien Ball. Halifax back at the York 20 metre line. Tackles in the bag. Adam Hayes tries to go through, full the defence. Last tackle, Penny to Atwood. Atwood gets it back to Lawford. And George might have the height advantage, but has only knocked it forward. And Halifax need to defend against Blairmeyer's counter-attack. Gibson all over the full-back. The tackle had been made. Well, consecutive penalties for both sides has helped relieve the pressure. Andy Hobson off for Byron Smith, and Byron Smith straight in for the first tackle with Clough. Well, York managing to keep it alive again. Liddell fires the ball away, and Tootle did well to keep hold of that. Looked like he'd overrun it. Liddell to Potter. York keeping it alive again and making important yards with Liddell continuing the run which Potter started. Buckley gets it away to Bates, and Bates is dragged down. Well, that surely was a pass off the ground. Not so, says the referee, and he's giving York another opportunity as Blanchard drives towards that Halifax line. Halifax really under the cosh here as Potter takes the ball and 3 tacklers. A couple of metres away from the Halifax line, the hand raised for the last tackle. York will do everything they can to keep it alive. Halifax will do everything they can to make sure that the tackle is made man and ball, which they do effectively. It's the last tackle. Atwood comes up to do some of the work of the forwards. Haley looking for the gap, set through the defence, only the full back to beat. The chasers back after Haley, but he's made a magnificent run out of his own half. Halifax may be able to capitalise, but the ball's gone to ground. York defenders were still coming back then. Halifax couldn't shoot the ball out quick enough as Byron Smith charges up the middle into the heart of the York defence. Clough to Penny. Penny gets it away to Andy Spink, and Spink trying to hold off defenders. Finally hauled down 5 metres away. Last tackle. Lawford Gets it to Damien Ball, and Damien Ball has lost. Well, I'm not sure if he's lost it, but he's not made the try line. Well, end-to-end stuff in a furious opening to this second half. Well, it can't continue in these temperatures. It's absolutely boiling hot on the field in the direct sunlight. Very little cloud. And here go York again. Patterson opting to take route one up the middle this time. Liddell looks for an inside runner, but the defenders were waiting, Smith and Spink. Patterson kicks over the top for Buchanan to chase, and the ball has been picked up by Buchanan. He throws it away in panic, and it's gone down on the floor, and Ronnie Lawton will give York 6 more tackles, and that was a forward pass. But it doesn't matter because York are going in behind the post for another try. And it looks like Dan Potter. No, it's not. It's a fullback, Blairmeyer. Well, Mick Cook studied the videos, obviously knows Halifax are poor starters in the second half. Lee proved that at the Coliseum a couple of weeks ago, and Cook with his York City Knights are taking full advantage. And Patterson, surely it must go over this time. Third time lucky. They managed to get one in between the posts. Well, Halifax supporters were buzzing at half time. They'll be sweating a little bit now, I'm sure. 32 4 points to lead. 32 points to 4 lead has been eroded by these York City Knights, who scored 10 points. It's now Halifax 32, York 14. And York looked the better side as Spink will be penalised for the high tackle. Well, he's going to explain his Ronnie Lawton. Well, referees don't waste much time in reaching for the card. An incident in a Super League match this weekend resulted in Willie Tallout sending off for what appeared to be a lot less than what Spink, the offence that Spink committed there. But Halifax still have 13 on the field, and they need 13 because at the moment they're being outplayed by the York City Knights as they drive the ball forward again into the Halifax half of the field. Gets up and plays the ball quickly. Little to Patterson, and Neil Law disappears under 2. Sullivan charging it forward. Last tackle, York 25 metres out from the Halifax line. Patterson or Liddell will kick. Well, it's gone through Patterson's hands to Liddell, and they're going to put pressure on Marcus George, but Marcus George keeps hold of the possession despite a wrestling match. Fox putting up the struggle, trying to get the possession away from the Halifax winger. Well, York stepping off the mark as Gibson gets it away to Adam Hayes.
The York City Knights Sports Club closing goal has been drawn. The first ticket out was number 26837.
Gibson, a try scorer in the first half, almost finding a gap in the York defence. Clough to Byron Smith. Smith charging the ball up to halfway, but it's a last tackle. York restricting Halifax's progress back to Lawford, who gets the kick away, which will go over the dead ball line. Not the result that Lawford wanted to that kick, because it means York will get a chance to bring the ball out from the 20-metre tap. Well, they make 10 metres with the first run, and the more impressive 15 with a second, and they're almost up to halfway. Little fires the ball out. Little again, going from acting half, keeping the ball alive. Halifax slow to react. York just 22 metres away from that Halifax line again, with Blairmeyer to Buckley. Buckley gets it away, and York keeping it moving. Potter's dragged down, last tackle again. Little in the position to kick again, over the top. There's a challenge in the air, but the ball goes to ground. Well, Halifax will get the possession, but they're being kept in their own half of the field by this York defence. Larder and Bolts are going to come on for Halifax. Adam Hayes gets through one tackle, then gets the pass away to Lawford, who in turn gives it to Penny. Penny steps the defence. Has support on the outside with Marcus George. Might not need him. Turns back inside. Still going forward is Penny. And is finally stopped by Potter. Halifax a chance to take advantage again because the York defenders are still coming back. Lawford for the line. Gives it to Spink, who took it in a standing position. And once again the momentum lost. As Spink is held up and slowed down in the tackle. Larder's only just come back on, gets a touch. Scored a try in the first half. Last tackle, Penny will put it through on the floor. Marcus George is just unable to take the ball in again, and so it goes over the line, and York will come back for the tap on the 20. Halifax still looking for the first points of the second half. York now only 14 points behind, and a lot more purpose and commitment in this York side in this second half, as Buckley, who's impressed for York, drags it up to halfway, and then Tootil takes it on another 10 metres. The Halifax 40 metre line. Wrench and Spink doing the tackling. Sullivan driving the ball forward, running at John Clough. Clough equal to the task though, taking the big prop down. Patterson looks back inside. Support there from Blairmeyer, the fullback. He gets it away to Tootil. Little takes the pass. Halifax watching the scrum half, and he's allowed to continue the run. Potter gets it away. There's a wrestle on the side, and the ball, well, I'm not sure it went down. There was a man underneath, and Peter Fox has set the Halifax Hearts fluttering with a third try of the second half. Well, Marcus George had hold of the man but couldn't complete the tackle. Neither could Atwood stop him getting over the line. Fox gets the ball down.
Number 5, sponsored by Fellini's Peter Fox.
Patterson left a kick on the touchline, but York are back within sight. 14 points now the deficit. Halifax 32, York City Knights 18. And is this going to be once again a game of two halves? First half was all one-way traffic. The second half so far is going the same way, but it's in the opposite direction in the favour of York as Patterson pulls that one to the right hand upright.
Well, successful convergence in there for Knights. The score now, York City Knights 18, Halifax 32.
Well, they would have been 4 points closer had the convergence gone over. And I wonder how much they'll count at the end of this game. Halifax struggling to get anywhere near that York line with the ball, and struggling to stem the tired of these York attacks as they bring the ball back from their own try line, and indeed the taps on the 20. And once again proving difficult to stop the opposition when the ball comes out in the tackle as well, which has proved a problem for Halifax throughout many seasons, not just this one. And Buckley once again slow play the ball. Halifax still struggling to stem the tide. York almost up to the halfway line. Patterson fires the ball out wide. It looked forward, and Ronnie Lawton, I think with the assistant of the touch judge on the far side, has given that decision.
16, Derek Tutil is replaced by number 9, Jermaine Ray.
Well, Jermaine Ray back on. He's received attention in the first half behind the Halifax post. We've obviously been working on him at half time as well. York trying to get the big shove on. Kirk loses the ball. It went backwards, says the referee. He regathered his own pass. Perhaps he might have seen it differently had it. Another Halifax man taking that ball. Jason Bolts drives it up. Halifax badly needing a score just to settle the nerves, but it's a scrappy play of the ball, and the referee said it was a knock on. Well, the York coaching staff began this match on the first half, sat in the director's box, and now all down at the pitch side. Spicer looking for the way through again. Absolutely had a massive possession of York in the second half and made the most of it with 14 points. And they're going looking for more. Back in the Halifax half once again. Buckley driving the ball forward strongly. He's done a ton of work this afternoon as a second rower. As Ray kicks towards the corner, the ball will be left by Haley to travel dead. And Halifax will be glad of the possession, but they've still got to get to the other end of the field yet. Something they've struggled to do so far in this second half, as Marcus George is tackled. Felt the full impact of that. Well, I suppose if you want to run against the forwards, you have to take the punishment, or it's a leg injury to Marcus George. Larder charging the ball up. But York with a bit with the bit between the teeth. I've just been disappointed by Ronnie Lawton's decision of another Halifax penalty. The ball pulled out by a York defender in the 2-on-1. Larder charging the ball up again, gets to the 20. Halifax desperate for points as Hayes manages to get the ball away to Byron Smith. And Byron Smith takes Halifax to within 12 metres. Clough back to the right hand side. Lawford trying to set something up. Larder's the runner. Perfectly timed run, looking for the second try off a pass from Lawford, but stopped inches short of the line. Clough gives it to Jason Bolts. He'll get the ball back to Clough. Penny picks it up off the bootlaces, and Penny trying to wrestle out of the tackles and wiggle his way to the line, but just can't stretch the arm out far enough. Clough to Lawford. Lawford with a kick to Marcus George. He's only got to take it and touch it down, and he's knocked the ball forward. Very small in-goal areas. Marcus George still looking to be troubled by that leg injury as Jermaine Ray drives the ball away for York. 32 points to 18.
Substitution there for tonight's leaving the field, number 12, Dave Buckley, is replaced by number 17, Nick Stavely.
Jason Golden drives the ball up. Nick Stavely on for York, replacing Dave Buckley, who must be worn out after his efforts in this game so far, as Sullivan drives it forward over halfway. Patterson to Liddell. There's a kick because there's nobody at home. Brambani does well to get back and cover the ball. Atwood looking for the way through. Brambani on for Halifax. Penny to Jason Bolts. Clough goes from acting half, gets the ball away to Lawford. Lawford on to Larder, but nowhere for Larder to go as he's put down on halfway. And Jermaine Ray gets up again and has a few words. Lawford's high kick, it doesn't cause any problems for the fullback as he'll set up the counter attack. Buchanan, who's a bit of a speed merchant, manages to shrug off the first tacklers and thought about the pass and should have played the ball perhaps after the first tackle because he looked to go down. Patterson will try to break the Halifax defence, taking the pass off Chris Spurt. York piling forward again. Jermaine Ray charges forward, gets the ball away but only to John Clough. Jason Bolts will settle it down for Halifax, taking the tackle. Gibson up from fullback, away from acting half. Into two. Clough to Atwood. Lawford to Hayes. Got away from the first, couldn't get away from the second. Byron Smith charging the ball up. The tackles were upstairs and that allowed Smith to make an extra couple of metres, but it's a last tackle as Penny chips straight into the hands of the fullback Blamer, and Fox will bring it away for York. Wrestle to the ground, ball comes loose. Atwood will counter attack for Halifax and they'll look it because he'll get another 6 tackles. Fox unable to keep hold of the ball, it went down. Lawford turns it back inside. Larder on his shoulder as ever. Wrench off a short ball. 3 men around him. Put down 5 metres away. Penny to, oh this is Penny, sorry, to Spink. Pumping the legs, but he's lost the ball now. And Blameyer is tackled, but there's a knock on there. No advantage. So York will get the feed at the scrum. There's been an absolute catalogue of mistakes in the second half by both sides. Halifax unable to capitalise on the fullback's knock on. And York to bring it away from their own line again with Potter initially. Running off the back of the scrum. That's a big hit from Adam Hayes, and the touch on from the far side. I'm not sure why, because he looked to hit him hard and fair. Well, there didn't look to be anything wrong with the way that Adam Hayes went in then. Buchanan quick to try and get the roll on for York. Patterson to Sullivan. Sullivan will cart it forward into Larder and Wrench. Jason Golden is put down. Ray fires the ball out to Patterson. Patterson looking for runners on the far side. It went through the hands and Buchanan picked it up. Atwood will pick the ball up and try and counter-attack. Beats the first 2 attempted tacklers. Here comes Haley again. Brambini quick to go from acting half, for trying a hatful of goals here on Thursday night in the Alliance game. Clough trying to steal yards from a dummy half position. Halifax struggling to make ground as Brambini goes again. Trying to get up and play it quickly, but they're slowing down the play of the ball. It's the last tackle. Penny manages to get it behind the full-back, but again the ball will run out of play. Now 10 minutes to go. It's Halifax 32, York 18. Sullivan falls to a tackle after only 5 metres. Halifax need a little more of that. They've managed to contain York for quite some time now. But still no points on the board in this second half for the men in blue and white. And Liddell doing his best to stay on his feet, trying to sneak an opportunity to get the ball away in the tackle. Jermaine Ray kicks over the top. They'll appeal for the penalty as Atwood collects the ball. And Gibson is chased by Potter and Halifax lose ground. As Wrench drives it forward up to the 40. But it's tenacious tackling from York as John Clough escapes the clutches of the first and the second. He'll have to go on his own because there's nobody with him. Penny, well, there's more York men down this side, so there's nothing for Halifax down here. As Brambini's caught the last tackle. Penny goes for the drop goal and gets the 1 pointer. Well, it's the first point of the afternoon, or of the second half, for Halifax. And I think the philosophy behind that is that Halifax get the ball back from the kick-off and they want possession as much as they can in the last minutes of this second half. It's Halifax 33, York City Knights 18. And the short kick-off, it's a bad one for Halifax. Well, this time it's come up as Spink gives it to Damien Ball, and Damien Ball is tackled on the 40 by Jason Golden. Gibson will run the ball up for the forwards. Hobson charging the ball up over halfway. Clough will bring it back down centre field, and Clough's made a huge gap, gets it to Damien Ball as Ball got the pace, but has been stopped 2 metres away, and once again Halifax have the opportunity, but they're unable to take it as the ball goes back into York hands, and Brambini manages to pull the ball out of Patterson, but Patterson gets it back, and York will begin again with 6 tackles as Blairmeyer gets the ball away. Good tackle from Hobson on the 20. But York still not done for, still trying to trouble this Halifax defence. And Chris Spur earns himself on his side another penalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, rugby league is a family game, so please help us here tonight to create an environment.
Well, that's 8 penalties apiece.
Abusive or offensive language or behaviour. The York City Knights will not tolerate any form of discriminatory language or behaviour, and anyone who behaves in this way.
And York with around 6 or 7 minutes to try and salvage something from the 15-point deficit. Ray to Liddell, long pass out to Patterson, looks inside and finds Blairmeyer, the fullback, running onto the ball and tackled on the 20-metre line. Ray to Liddell, and a loose forward. Blanchard looks for support, takes the tackle. Halifax watching the man running with the ball, and that man's Dan Potter. Potter gets it away. York trying to keep it alive again. And they're still going forward, but Halifax are managing to hold out for the moment. Tired defence, looking a bit sluggish on that line. Liddell kicks over the top. Where are the chasers? Joel Penny will just punch the ball. Oh, Lawford it was, punch the ball into the safety at the back of the dead ball line. And while both sets of players take a breather, referee Ronnie Lawton stops the clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon's York City United's man of the match is number 13, sponsored by Sabre International, Mark Blanchard.
Lawford will drop out from under the post. A few of the York supporters leaving. 4 minutes left. Fox picks up the ball that evaded Liddell on the bounce. Goes inside, gets up and has another go. Jermaine Ray to Blanchard, who's just been given the York man of the match for this afternoon. Here goes Ray again, causing problems. He gets the pass away. They keep it alive. Blanchard has managed to get over. And Blanchard scored in the first half. He scored in the second. Well, perhaps those York City United supporters might turn around at the exits with Blanchard going over.
First score there tonight. It's amazing what happens when you the match. Number 13,
the fifth try of the afternoon for York. Patterson will waste no time in converting. So a second success for Patterson as Ronnie Lawton once again stops the clock. Halifax not in a rush to get this game restarted. York back to within 9 points.
Score now, York City United 24, Halifax 33.
Well, they did enough in the first half, did Halifax, but once again suffered in the early moments of the second half when 3 tries and a conversion from York. Want this game wide open, the ball bouncing in the air and wrenches into the fullback. Hobson has to get blame out as he gets to his feet and tries to counter-attack. Jermaine Ray steps away from the first tackler. Well, he's alive well, he's a hooker, and they missed him while he was off injured. And Hobson looked a little bit high there. As the ball comes loose, York lose a little bit of ground. And Brambane makes a tackle. Spink with a tackle 5 metres from halfway on Blanchard, the loose forward. Liddell throws it out to Patterson, but Patterson knocks on again. Tries to do the same. And that might be the last attack of the game for York. And a barren second half for Halifax. It's only produced a 1 drop goal from Joel Penny. Have Halifax anything left in the closing stages of this match? They've got the 2 points, which was the most important thing. Martin Hall must still be wondering how a 32 points to 4 lead has been eroded by the opposition. Hobson to Larder. Larder gets it away. Spink will pick it up and feed it on to Brambane. And Brambane steps the first but can't escape the second. Halifax tackle 22 metres away. Clough to Lawford. Lawford to Hobson. There's no way through the heart of the York defence in the middle of the field. Clough out to Lawford. Lawford again with Larder running off his shoulder. And a late try for Halifax in the far corner as they ship the ball out wide. And at last something for the Halifax supporters on that far side of the field for cheer about as James Haley goes over. Well, it's taken just about 39 minutes of the second half for Halifax to get over the whitewash. They'd done enough in the first half. Nervous moments as York came out firing on all cylinders at the beginning of that second half. More frustration for Martin Hall. The hooter sounds as James Haley's left himself a difficult conversion on that far side of the field. Well, we would have expected Halifax to post an avalanche of points on a 34 points to 2 lead, 32 points to 4 half-time lead. They couldn't do anything against the York side that came out rampant in the opening minutes of the second half and posted tries from Bates, Blameyer and Fogg. Patterson, only the one conversion. Penny's drop goal was all that Halifax had to show for most of this second half. Blanchard the man of the match with the York's fourth try of the second half. Patterson with a conversion. A late try from James Haley. And Halifax home and dry with the 2 points. Convincing, but only in the first 40 minutes. The final score, Halifax 37, York City Knights 24.